Over 4,000 migrant workers in southeast China's Fujian province got on motorcycles and began hours-long rides over the weekend, braving the winter wind to make it back home for the upcoming Chinese New Year holiday. The ride is hard, but the prospect of seeing their relatives again has made it a challenge they are willing to face. The migrant workers, fully prepared for their long ride, gathered at several gas stations in Fujian before dawn, hitting the road around 6:30 a.m. 26-year-old Liu Jirong is from East China's Jiangxi province, about 500 kilometers from his workplace, a garment factory in Fujian. Before starting his 16-hour ride, Liu went to buy new clothes for his parents and his 2 children back home. His luggage is filled with gifts for the family. Motorcycles are favored by many migrant workers, as they allow the workers to avoid scrambling for train tickets, which become very hard to get around this time of year. The vehicles also give them more independence when visiting friends and relatives back home. After riding for 6.5 hours, Liu and several other riders stopped at a gas station around 1 p.m. to take a break.
The weather is good today, and it's nice to have people to accompany me on the way. Some of them have returned home this way for several years. I feel steady and safe traveling with them.
Gas stations in several provinces are providing the riders with a safety bag that includes a reflective vest, a red scarf, accident insurance, and a map. The bikers can also change their oil once for free during their trip. 62 service stations have been set up in 4 provinces to offer food, maintenance, and resting places for the bikers. Liu got a free lunch and hot ginger tea from volunteers at one gas station.
It feels so good. One kid gave me ginger tea to warm up once I entered the station. It's very nice. After I changed my oil, the lunch was prepared.
After lunch, Liu called to check in with his family and continued his ride. The road started to become more narrow and hard to navigate, making his trip even more difficult. Unfortunately, Liu's bike conked out when he was far from the nearest service station. Luckily, one of his fellow riders was able to tow his bike to the station for repairs. It was already 7 p.m. and Liu was starting to become impatient. But a mechanic at the station was able to change his bike's belt and solve the problem in half an hour.
I don't feel like eating dinner at all. I just want to get home now.
Liu hurried to regroup with the other riders, finally arriving home at 10 p.m. His entire family was waiting for him, with the exception of his 2 children, who simply couldn't stay awake long enough.
I'm very happy. My son hadn't been home for a year. He can't stay long when he does return and has to go back to work quickly. I miss him.
It smells good and tastes delicious. I haven't eaten home-cooked food in a long time. I really miss it.
A cold front that recently hit China has made travel difficult for the riders, but Liu said the struggle is worth it. This year's Chinese New Year begins on February 8th. The annual travel rush that occurs before the holiday began on January 24th this year.